An oppressive state in Afghanistan against women and girls is again taking shape in just a matter of days. Taliban fighters reportedly shot and killed a woman for simply not wearing a burqa. This photograph shows a woman lying in a pool of blood with loved ones crouched around her after she was killed by insurgents for being in public without the head covering. This happening the very same day the group pledged to honor women's rights within the highly restrictive Sharia law. Remember, they held their own news conference. And while more stories like this emerge, many are asking, where's Vice President Kamala Harris? Why is she not speaking up for these women? Shannon, your thoughts.
Well, listen, we've heard House Speaker Nancy Pelosi say the U.S. is watching. We call on the international community to make sure that nothing happens to these women. But this is one of those stories where we see the images. If you go on dailymail.com right now, the paper that's known for all kinds of celebrity and weird things, but they also have video of some of these political and foreign policy stories. They've got video of young women at the gates of the airport begging for help, saying the Taliban are coming for us. We have nowhere to go. We are begging you. People were handing their babies over the fence to anybody they think might take them on the other side of the airport. I mean, there are always stories that are hard to cover and we compartmentalize as journalists. This is a really tough one. And I'm not just talking about Afghanistan. There are women around the world who are facing oppression, but it is highlighted, it is spotlighted in what we're seeing right now. I couldn't be more grateful to live in a country that doesn't treat me like property, that doesn't tell me I'm going to be killed if I don't wear the right outfit, or that young girls are going to be given over to leadership. What does that mean? I can only assume the most horrific, worst thing possible. And so, listen, if we're going to be champions here in this country of women's rights across the political spectrum, left, right, and center, we have to, every voice, and our first female vice president has got to stand up and be in the forefront of this thing.
So, you know what struck me as you were talking, Shannon? I was reading reports today of private companies and USAID and many volunteers wanting to pull together resources to get their own planes to get to that airport. They can't even accept that help because it's such a mess there right now, a dangerous, toxic mix of Taliban on the outside and people who don't even know on the tarmac on the inside mixed in with a few hundred Americans. I mean, there is help out there. And when you say those people who would want to help the women, we can't even get to them.
Yeah.
I mean, the president has created a situation where those of us who would want to help, those in charitable organizations, can't help. This is just out from the White House, though. It's part of a statement that we'll read. And it's a joint statement made with 19 other countries in the European Union. It reads, "We are deeply worried about Afghan women and girls, their rights to education, work, and freedom of movement. We call on those in positions of power and authority across Afghanistan to guarantee their protection." And then they do exactly what Shannon said. They're going to monitor the situation. Emily.
This just reminds me, actually, of what we've been talking about with the Taliban. Words don't matter, your actions do. And let's look back at a couple of the vice president's words. In March, she addressed the UN. She said then, "The status of women is the status of democracy." Well, I think it's pretty clear then that the status of democracy in Afghanistan is absolutely zero. While she was campaigning for president, she said, "Let women make decisions about their own lives." No woman in Afghanistan will ever be able to make a decision about their own life as long as the Taliban is in power. And in her victory speech, she told all of us, "Let every girl watching know that this is a country of possibilities." Well, the United States might be, but Afghanistan no longer is. And her silence right now is deafening.
Kaylee.
I'll tell you exactly why she's being silent. She's being silent. She's being absent because she wants to be. And this is a political calculus. And that is what is so sad at base about this. Why was she absent from the border for 100 days? She didn't want to be seen down there with the images that she once decried. She used to call it human rights violations. The border has never been as bad as it is now. We've talked about those young girls at the border, the suicide watch list in these children facilities. She's absent because she doesn't want her face alongside those images. Why is she absent on Afghanistan? You're right. She's made those statements, Emily. She's absent because she touted, "I was the last person in the room with President Biden when the decision was made to get out of Afghanistan." She was instrumental in this decision. Her silence means she doesn't want to be attached to this crumbling because guess what? She wants to be president in 3.5 years. This is about power. And how sick is that as women, as Shannon said, put their babies over fences? How hard of a decision that must be.
Vivek, I want to end with you with taking a look at the recent tweets from Kamala Harris. And look, Twitter is one thing, it's social media. But this rides alongside Twitter not taking down tweets from people who are trying to join the Taliban.
Yeah,
right?
look.
I mean, the conversations that are going on. So, you know, one of her first tweets about this, for decades, our courageous service members put their lives on the line in Afghanistan. We will always be grateful and proud. Ending U.S. military involvement in Afghanistan is the right decision. Again, skirting the issue of it's not what we were doing there, it's how we did it, but no mention of women. And then yesterday, I mean, this is an important topic. No mention of the women, Afghanistan, none of that. She talked about the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. Again, important issue. Where's the vice president?
Yeah, look, there are women being shot in the street for not wearing a burqa by the Taliban. And we have a woman who's the first woman president of the United States. America celebrated it. This was an opportunity for her to emerge on the global stage as a leader, to call out the Taliban for their treatment of women. And she didn't do it. She's been completely absent. She knows how to lecture the United States about racism and misogyny and bigotry. And it turns out that's about it. That's about all she knows how to do. I think she is totally lost on the job. I think she is in way over her head. She has been nowhere near this situation. And I'm sorry to say, for America, that may actually be a good thing. But it is sorry to see a wasted opportunity on the global stage.
And she's silent on Cuomo, too. Got to throw that one in there.
Yeah, well, that's another issue that deals with women.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Selectively speaking out.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.